Hey guys, welcome to the LGBTQ Voice. I'm tonight's host, Traci Welch, and each week we talk about events, resources, history, and what's impacting the LGBT community and the community at large in and around the South Coast. So I'm going to have AJ put something up for us. So we have sponsorship to support the LGBTQ Voice here, which is a program of the South Coast LGBTQ Network. So through your commercial ads, sponsorship, and show takeovers, you can support the community. Please contact us at leo@thebedfordguide.com. We actually do a lot in the community, so we're going to be talking a little bit more about that later. But we need proceeds to go to fund the programs that we have. And again, you can do a whole show takeover where it's just your, what do you want to call it, your agenda. We'll host the show and it's your show takeover. We have commercials, ads for our shows that you could do, and 50% of the proceeds go to the South Coast LGBTQ Network. So I want to definitely thank you and give a shout out to the Bedford Guide for letting us use their forum for our agenda. So we've done shows on HIV PrEP and prevention. We've done shows on how and where to get tested. But tonight we're talking with Linda Spinner, a woman living with HIV. So I met Linda years ago as volunteering for AIDS Inc., Association of Individuals Dedicated and Sincere. And that organization raised money for people infected and affected with HIV in the Fall River and the Bedford area. I know Brian Pont started the AIDS Inc. years ago because one of his friends gave money to an AIDS organization, and he knew the money went there, and all of a sudden somebody else needed money. He's like, oh, you can go get it because I just gave some. Well, the money's already, once it's in, it's gone. So that's when Brian decided to start, the AIDS, again, association. And guys, I'm just going to pop up our show. If you guys have comments during the show, be able to hit it up. And here we go. We're live. I'm so excited. Can I hide it? All right. Good to go. So Linda and I met a few times in our life, and I was very fortunate to be at one of the AIDS benefits and hear your story. And if some of you guys know in the show, I always have tissue nearby. That show was, it was heartfelt because people assume that everybody that has HIV or AIDS is gay. Linda is a straight woman, an ally, and somebody that goes to our events. She's been to our winter film series and asks eloquent questions. I love the one the month before about your granddaughter and the questions that she had as a 4-year-old with people with transitioning folks and gays and lesbians as well. But tonight we're talking to you about HIV, and some tough questions are going to be coming a little bit. But how did you know you had HIV?
Well, I didn't. At the time, I was working for Life Streams, and I had gotten bitten by a client who had hepatitis. And I went to the doctors because I was getting all the symptoms. And back then, in the 70s, women didn't get HIV. So they really didn't know what the symptoms were. Excuse me. So a lot of the symptoms that I was having were the symptoms of someone who had hepatitis C. So I went through all the tests. Everything kept coming back negative. They sent me for a spit test. They sent me for, you name it, every kind of test possible. And everything came back negative. So I myself asked my doctor if I could have an HIV test. And he laughed. And I said, what's so funny? I said, my husband was a drug user, an IV drug user. You've ran every test on me, and every test come back negative, but I'm sick.
Yep.
I'm losing weight. You can't seem to find what's wrong with me. So he ran the test on me. He called me up June 10th, my birthday.
Oh.
I had just turned 34 years old that day. It was 10 in the morning. And said to me, Linda, your test came back. You need to come into the office. And I said, and? He said, you were right. You have AIDS. I lost it. I called my brother Lenny, who I knew worked at the health center, who in turn came to the house with all the nurses from the health center, who came with
Which
me.
health center?
Greater New Bedford
Sorry,
Community Health.
I know, but I just,
Greater New Bedford Community Health Center.
yeah.
They all came with me to that doctor's office and reamed him a new a-hole and told him that if he ever had another client like that again, they gave them his cards and, told him.
And time sensitive. I mean, how much time went by from when you got bit to when you got diagnosed,
Right.
you know?
If that ever happened again, to call the health center and they would come down and do what needed to be done. So we left there and I went to the health center and they took another test. And I waited for that test to come back because my brother was totally sure that it was false positive, which happens. So I waited,
Which you were hoping for.
which I was hoping for. 2 weeks later, that test came back and it said I was positive. My brother Lenny said, "Nope, that's wrong."
He was in denial.
He said, "Do another one." They did another one. Waited 2 weeks later, that test came back. And he still didn't believe it. He wanted me to do another one. I said, "Stop.
Yeah.
We've done 3 tests already, and 3 tests came back that said I was positive, so I guess I'm positive." And at the time, I had lost it. My son at the time was away in jail. My ex-husband had just got out of jail. Tried to call him because he was staying with me because he had told his parole officer that,
Oh, yeah, I'm staying with my ex-wife. We're
yeah,
good.
I'm going to stay with my ex-wife, we're going to try to make it work. He needed a safe place, and I was a safe place. And when we finally got a hold of him, his words to me was, "I told you if I couldn't have you, no one else was going to."
Oh, my God.
And he left.
What did you, well, what were you, when that happened, did you just lose it again, or?
I lost it.
You
I
kick his
stayed
ass?
home, I went to work, I came home and I cried. My son would call me and I talked to him like I was fine, I was happy, there was nothing wrong.
Fake it till you make it?
Fake it till you make it. And I did that until my brother had, this was a couple of months later, because I was just in such a deep, deep, deep depression. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have killed myself, honestly. And the fact of my son and I had a beautiful granddaughter that had just turned a year old. So I knew that that wasn't a way out, that I was going to have to learn how to deal with whatever it was that was going through me. But I couldn't tell my son because my son was in jail at the time.
Did you want to worry him, or?
And if I had told my son, as close as him and I were, and he knew who my husband was, and he had seen the rough life that I had lived with my husband before,
Yeah.
I was afraid that my son would get out of jail and kill him. So I needed to protect him, because that's all I had, was my son. So I hid it from everybody for 15 years. I never said nothing, and I just lived with it. And I lived behind my brother's shadows. So everybody thought that everything that I did was because of my brother.
Yep.
And
I have a couple of tissues. I know, we're gonna need them today, guys.
I know, so my brother carried me through everything that I did. And he brought me to my very first AIDS meeting at conference, and there was a bunch of women there. And he hooked me up with this woman, her name was Sandra Maribal. And her and I was in the room, and of course I was just, sitting there very quiet, and, she took me out with her. We were in P-Town, because the conference was in P-Town, and, I'm watching her, and she's dancing up a storm, and I'm sitting there, and I'm saying, she's having a ball. Look at her. She's really having a ball. we came back that night and she shared her story with me, and she told me that she had had her baby, and she had a hard delivery, and she ended up with 4 pints of blood, and the blood was tainted at the time. So she ended up HIV positive, and so did her child.
Yeah.
And her husband didn't believe her, so he left her.
Oh, wow.
And she was struggling with being positive along with having a child. But I watched her and a few of the other women that I still know today, and we meet on a regular, when we go away to conferences and stuff, and they were just living, and I was sitting there dying. And the only thing that was keeping me alive was my granddaughter, because I had her on the weekends, and my son when he called. And after being with them for a whole weekend, I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this.
So just, HIV is a virus that attacks the body's immune system. It is usually spread by anal or vaginal sex or sharing syringes with a person who has HIV. The only way to know you have HIV is to be tested. Everyone aged 13 to 64 should be tested at least once. And people at high risk should be tested at least once a year. Without treatment, HIV can make a person very sick or may even cause death. If you have HIV, start treatment as soon as possible and stay healthy and help protect your partners. So Michelle Mello says, love you, Linda Spinner, so much strongest woman I know. So much shout out for Linda. People with HIV need to know their HIV status so they can take medicine to treat HIV. Taking HIV medicine as prescribed can make the level of virus in their body very low, called viral suppression, or even undetectable. A person with HIV who gets and stays virally suppressed or undetectable can stay healthy and has an effectively no risk for transmitting HIV to HIV negative partners through sex. So again, every time we talk about statistics, this is one of those categories that's always behind.
Right.
You figure with the money that they give to HIV, we would have more statistics a little bit quicker. But again, this is from 2017. I know Linda just finished something last month, and we're trying to get some new figures, but we do know that New Bedford is now number 2 in the state.
Number 2 again, we're
with
rising
HIV.
again with HIV.
Yeah.
And heterosexual women is on the rise, women over 50.
Oh, wow. Women over 50, who'd have thought that?
Who'd have thought that?
You know?
That
Well,
today.
hey, they're getting their groove on.
At least,
Or we don't know if it's syringes,
Right.
you know?
But, it's sad because, you would think whenever we get a woman and that's my age and they test positive, I say, years ago, like when I became positive, you didn't know.
Yeah.
You didn't know how this was, but now you know.
But when I first started to do the segment for the show, and I do a Facebook event page, and I first put person surviving HIV. And I'm like, no, you're living with HIV. I guess, and we talk about, I got my notes down here. When you first get diagnosed, you're trying to figure out, how am I gonna survive with this? Then you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm dealing with this. And one, like you said, your friend in P-Town, she's living with this.
Yes.
So I guess it's like a stage that you
It's
get.
a stage that you go through.
Yeah. So we do have Elizabeth, Angie Elizabeth, thank you for sharing your powerful story. And I know before we go, there's a beautiful story I'd like to talk about before I go to more questions. You started an organization, and it's, this can never happen to me. I've been able to go a couple times now in my life. But what made you want to start that program, and can you tell us a little bit about it?
It was me and 2 other women that we were always together. We went away to conferences together. We did everything together. We were the only 3 women here in the city that were infected by our partners. And we used to go away, and we'd come back and we'd sit there in all these conferences and stuff, and we'd say, what about us? What about me? I'm a
What about
mother.
straight women? Or?
These were straight women
Yeah.
who had children.
Yeah.
And we'd say, what about us? I didn't do drugs. I don't go out drinking every night. I work. I come home. I take care of my child. What about me? Every time we go away, all they're talking about is the gay guy or the person who's doing drugs. Well, what about us? We don't do that. We're not gay. We don't do drugs.
Yep.
So what about us? And we would come back to the health center and we would tell Paul Cassidy, who's my boss,
Yep.
and I'd say, Paul, what about me? I never thought that this could happen to me. You know, what about me? There's nothing there for me. There's nothing, you know, that I can relate to. They have so many different things. You know, they're not dealing with the stress of raising a child, or the stress of raising a grandchild, or the stress of having to go to work every day and come home and figure out how I'm going to pay this bill or how I'm going to pay that bill. Everything that they talk about is so different than what I'm going through and how I'm feeling. So what about us? And by us talking about that, Paul said, well, what about you? And we started the conference now. This year it will be our 17th year, called This Could Never Happen to Me. And every year we come up with a theme that kind of fits the theme of what's happening with HIV and AIDS. And what it is, it's geared to, it's just for women. And it's geared to educate women so that they can learn how to manage this disease and how to take care of themselves and how to learn that they're not alone. You know, there's other women out here that are dealing with the same thing that they're dealing with. Right now, my 2 partners are gone. I don't have that closeness that we had before. We did everything together.
Did they pass away?
Yes.
Sorry, I did not.
The 2 of them, they're gone. We did everything together. We went everywhere together.
Gal pals.
We were gal pals. You know, we shared, I mean, we knew when we was having a bad day. We knew that the medicine that they were on, and me, fortunately, I didn't start taking meds till 10 years ago. They were already on meds. So I saw the struggles that they took with the medicines of getting sick and getting not sick, getting bloated and getting unbloated, and, you know, trying to raise their children.
Did they die from HIV?
Yes,
The
they
complications?
did.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
they died from complications. You know, and today, I'm thankful that I see their children. You know, I'm here for their children. So I'm living through their eyes, helping their children today. You know, and that's a pleasure for me,
Yeah,
knowing
a
this.
blessing.
You know, it's a blessing that, you know, one of them, their children, her daughter and I are like mother and daughter. You know, her grandchildren call me Nana. You know, so it's like we have that little close-knit family that, you know, I see the things, you know, and I tell her, you know, if Mommy was alive, you know, I tell her stories about her mom and us when we used to go away and the funny things that we used to say and the funny things that we used to do. So it makes her know her mom more, feel her mom more when she's around me and stuff. And women don't have that today like we used to have back in the day. But they're all gone. They're not here. They're here. They're my angels. They sit on my shoulder. One is here and one is here. And without them, I don't know what I would do. They're probably slapping me around right now. But they're with me 24/7. They're with me.
Well,
They're my angels.
I know the day of your event, there's resource tables as you walk in. You have a medical speaker, panel speakers.
We have a medical speaker. We have a motivational speaker. And then we have women. We have panel speakers, which are women that are, you know, infected, that come in and share their stories. It's usually held at the Century House. This year it will be held at October 17th at the Century House from 8 to 3. We already have our day set. We have our speakers. You know, we've been working on it right now. It's a great event. It's just for women.
Yeah, and
you
if
know.
people want to go, how would they find out?
If people want to go, flyers are being made right now. I wish, if
That's
I
all
had
right.
known,
Yep.
we already have save the date flyers, so I
What
can
we'll
send
do is we'll
you,
share it on our page, all our pages.
I'll send you
No, I
a
will.
share the date
Yeah.
flyer that we have, you know, that we've already started. But there's a number where you can call and, you know, get on the,
Are you still looking for resource tables as well?
we're still looking for
Yeah.
resource tables. We get, all our money is raised through drug companies.
Yeah.
So what they do is they get the resource tables, and that's how we're able to afford to be able to pay for the favors, to pay for the luncheon. We
Yeah.
provide breakfast, we provide lunch.
Yeah.
And then we also have a big table of just giveaways
Yeah.
that we ask people in the community, to give us stuff, and we hold like a raffle,
Yeah,
but
so
nothing's
when you
paid
walk in, you
for.
actually get a ticket, and at the end of the day, you can take your ticket, you can kind of put it out, and they call your name, you're like, oh, I got free stuff, I didn't have to buy a
And it's
raffle
really
ticket.
beautiful stuff
Yeah.
that people give us to, wrap it off. So it's a really, very an emotional day for a lot of us, because the other two women that have passed there, we have a memorial table with them on, and then the other woman, she was the psychiatrist that worked at Greater New Bedford Community Health Center with me, passed away not too long ago, so we have her picture there too, because she was there right from the beginning with us. So I'm the last HIV positive female, that.
So I know you said the other girls were on medications prior to you, and you waited 10 years. So was there a reason that you didn't want to get on something right away?
I didn't
Especially with
have
Lenny?
to. My brother Lenny, I didn't have to. My T cell, because there's a thing where if you have opportunistic infections or if your T cells fall below 200, you're supposed to go on medicine, so it won't. My T cells have never dropped that low.
Yeah.
I've never had any opportunistic infections. I've never been sick.
I know, everybody out there, not for Linda.
With HIV. I've been sick with other illnesses. I have fibromyalgia, I have stenosis of the spine, so I've been sick through that aspect, but as far as my HIV is well controlled, I've always been undetectable since I've never been, had a viral load. I've always been undetectable. So I've never really had to take meds. But with my brother Lenny, he's always told me hit heavy, hit hard, hit early, hit hard, or whatever. So once my T cells got to 500, I started taking meds.
Okay.
So my T cells have always stayed strong. I've never let them get sick.
Don't take a chance, keep
And
taking
I'm
it.
not gonna take a chance, and, I mean, there's times right now that, I've put on a little bit of weight, or I've taken weight off, or I've suffered one here and there that I say, oh, why did I ever start, But, in a way, I'm glad, because like my doctor has told me, I've never, like I said, knock on wood, had any opportunistic infections, and I've never been sick with any. I mean, this year was the first time I came down with even the shingles, but I can't even say that that's from HIV, because I had shingles when I was a young kid, so.
So one of the things when we're doing our research, tuberculosis remains the leading cause of death among people living with HIV, accounting for around 1 in 3 age-related deaths in 2016. 10.4 million people developed tuberculosis. Of those, 1.2 million were living with HIV. So it's just one of those things that, because even when we do research for our youth group and all kinds of stuff, and that's something that I just kind of came up that I wasn't even aware of, And again, the more we do these shows, the more research we do. But new HIV diagnoses by age. So 13 to 24 was 8,100. This is just the U.S. statistics right now, guys. And just, again, this is 2017. Ages 25 to 34 was 13,433. 35 to 44, 7397. 45 to 54, 5735. And again, that 55 range, I never would have thought it would be this high. 55 to 64, 3,026. And 65 plus, 885. So just, kind of hearing those statistics. So I'm going to kind of break it down to you guys. That 66% diagnosis, again, 2017, were gay and bisexual men. 24% were amongst heterosexual. 6% were among those who injected drugs. And 3% were among gay and bisexual men who injected drugs. And I'm going to break it down by black male to male, sexual contact, 9,807. Hispanic Latino male to male sexual contact, 7,436. White male to male sexual contact, 6,982. Black women heterosexual contact, 4,008. Black men heterosexual contact, 1,717. Hispanic Latino women heterosexual contact, 1,058. White women heterosexual contact, 999. And again, we do these statistics so you guys understand. It's just back in the 80s, it was a gay disease, and and it's not that. So I know that you now work for Greater New Bedford Health
Community Health Centers.
Community Center. Thank you. Sorry. When did they know that you had HIV? I know Lenny was working there.
From day one.
From day one?
Mm-hmm.
And you got the support you needed, obviously?
Oh,
Yep. But you said offline, we had talked that you didn't tell your other job,
no.
because it wasn't their damn
It wasn't
business.
their business.
Yeah,
You know, I didn't, like I said, I mean, if I had to, I probably would have, but, you know, my brother was the one who, more or less, it's like, it's nobody's business, really. It's, you know, you don't have to tell anybody you don't want to tell.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and even now, it's like, I
None
don't
of
wear
your
a sign,
business.
you know, I don't wear a sign on my chest, and there's still a lot of people, they're probably gonna know now, because I'm on the show, but there's still a lot of people that know me that don't know, you know? And I made sure of that, and at the time, back then, I never said nothing to anybody, because I needed to tell my son before I told anybody that the only person that really knew was my brother Lenny
Yeah.
and my doctors. And then, once I told my son,
how'd that go?
good. He took it, and like I told my son, I don't want you to feel that I'm gonna die, because I'm not. I'm gonna be here for a long time,
Yeah.
and I don't want you to treat me any different
Yeah.
than you would have if you didn't know. And I don't want you to do anything crazy, because then I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I don't wanna have to worry about you.
Yeah. I don't
You
want you to
know.
go after your father.
Right.
Basically,
So once I knew that he was okay, and we were gonna be okay,
Yeah.
and he's there for me, and we're like thick as thieves, then I was okay. And like I said, as long as he knew, and then I told my granddaughter, who was just as close to me as my son, who at first she had kind of a hard time, because at first she said to me, oh, so you lied to me? And I said, no, I didn't lie to you. She said, well, you said you had fibromyalgia. I said, I do have fibromyalgia.
And HIV.
I said, I do have that, Dennis.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't lie to you about that. I do have that. So she says, well, how come you didn't tell me before? And I said, because I didn't want you to hover over me.
Yeah.
Okay, and I wanted to make sure that Daddy was okay and you was okay. And I said, because at that time, when I found out you was still a baby anyways, for one, I said, and then everybody was dying.
Yeah.
So I didn't want you to look at me, get up every morning and say, oh, God, is my Nana still gonna be here tomorrow? Or is my mom still gonna be here tomorrow? I didn't want you to think that. I didn't want you to worry about if I was still gonna be here tomorrow.
Well, I guess with Lenny having HIV, and Lenny just hit us up, I love you, my sister. It was easy for you to tell your family that.
Right.
Because Lenny had it, has it, it goes away. Since we're talking about people surviving HIV and whatnot, we're going to do like one of our sponsor stuff we have coming up right now. So I'm going to show you guys some hats. I know you guys know we talk about HIV in the 80s. Well, some of the Stonewall veterans have passed away because some of them had HIV. So we actually have our 50th anniversary Stonewall event coming up. And we actually am going to show you these lovely hats that you guys are going to be able to buy at our event. And it says Stonewall 69. It's got our rainbow on it. So when we do our 50th anniversary of Stonewall, you guys can find our event page on Facebook under the LGBTQ Voice or the South Coast LGBTQ Network. We have our own Facebook pages. So we have these events going on out there, and it's a little bit different than a baseball cap. It's sized in the back. I kind of sized it from my head earlier today. Woo-woo! Get your groove on. And these are going to be $20 at our Stonewall event that we have and South Coast Pride. We also have our New Bedford Pride hats, so we have a couple different versions that were made out there, and it says New Bedford Pride, and it's got the female, male, male, female, all the different kind of plus minus insignias, if you want to call it that. And we have it in black with the kind of rainbow. So these are some of the hats and stuff that we're going to have at our Pride events and at our Stonewall event. And the good thing about the Stonewall event is if you want it signed by one of the Stonewall veterans, he'll sign it for an extra $5. And these hats are specially made from him, and he had them sent to us for this event. And he understands that it costs money to do the programs that we do in our community. And this 50th anniversary Stonewall event will be at the Harbor Hotel. If you guys want information on it, again, I know AJ just put that stuff up. You can hit me up at Traci at sclgbtqnetwork.org. And we're going to talk about Pride real quick. So we have our May 31st event at the Harbor Hotel. $25 tickets, and there's sponsorship available. If you want a private dinner with Dave and his husband Bob, we already have, some people already sponsored, so right now we have 3 dinners, so $1,000, you get two seatings at dinner, 500, you get 1 seating at dinner, but you get perks with it, $1,000, you get a hotel for the night, you get this and that, a bunch of like, swag bag stuff that goes with that. And again, everything that we do, goes to the community and things that we support and that we run. So I want to make sure that we gave a shout out for our Stonewall and hats, let you guys kind of see what's going on. So, all right, I want to ask you some more questions. So we talked about support groups and whatnot. So where is it that you went? I know you went to your girls. Is it something that you do now?
I do a support group at the health center. I run a women's support group. It's the second Wednesday of the month from 2 to 3 o'clock. But then I over there. And then before that, I used to run like different support groups at Project Care and stuff like that.
So I know we talked about the, this can never happen to me. You said like 178 people came last year.
Last year, yeah. Last year was our biggest, biggest one yet. When we started, the first year we started, we had it at Buntwood Park at that like little conference room, and there was like 40 women, 40 people. I wouldn't say 40 women, but in the all, there was 40 women. And over the years, it's just grown. We left there. The next year, we went to the Whaling Museum, not the Whaling Museum, the one on County Street.
I hate that too. I don't know where I'm at.
The Whalers, what's the place on County Street?
Kevin, do you know?
Whereabouts?
County, right on County and Union.
Oh, it's
Wamsutta.
Okay.
We
Thanks,
did the
Kevin.
we did the Wamsutta for a couple of years, and then we got too big for the Wamsutta, and we went to downtown when UMass opened.
Yep.
We did a room there, and then from there we went to the Century House, and we've been there for the past 10 years.
10 years. I was just going to say 10 years.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. I'm trying to remember.
And every year it gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger.
And it's kind of nice that you outgrow a place. When we were doing
Yes.
AIDS benefits, we had it at a place, and we outgrew the place. Then we went to the Moose, we outgrew the Moose, and then we went to the Seaport Inn, and then eventually AADS, dispersed through the years, and people kind of went their own way. But it's just amazing. So are the women that you know in our community or in this general area, how many do you know that, that come to your groups that you know in the area that have HIV or AIDS?
That come to my group,
Yeah.
my women's group right now, I have 4 women that come to my group faithfully.
Yeah.
I have other women that straggle in and out, but the health center also does Spanish speaking
Oh, that's cool.
HIV support group, and
Yeah.
there's about 15, I want to say, between 10 and 15.
Yep.
And theirs is, it's once a month that they come to theirs. So it's on a regular,
Yeah.
it's on a regular. So any woman out here that is HIV positive and you want to come,
Yep.
you're welcome to come. It's the second Wednesday of every month from 2 to 3. I provide lunch.
Yep.
And the Spanish-speaking one is the first Thursday of every month
Right.
at the health center. And you're welcome to come. Anybody that, we have a lot of, some of the women that come to my group are old timers. We've been together forever.
Yeah.
We love on one another. We know when each other's sick. We know when we're not feeling good. We know if, I'm like the mother hen,
Yeah.
And then I also have my children that I do a support group for. I've worked with all the children that's been infected with HIV since birth here, and
Now, has there been one new one?
no, we haven't had any new positive since the early 90s.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
'Cause, we talk about, I'm going to give you guys some statistics right now, let Linda breathe for a minute. 2017, 38,739 people received an HIV diagnosis in the United States and dependent areas. The annual number of new diagnoses declined 9% from 2010 to 2016 in the 50 states and the District of Columbia. The South made up 52% of new HIV in the U.S., followed by the West at 19%, in the Northeast at 16%, and the Midwest at 13%. U.S.-dependent areas made up 1% of new HIV. The rates per 100,000 of HIV diagnoses were 16.1 in the South, 12.3 in the U.S.-dependent areas, 10.6 in the Northeast, 9.4 in the West, and 7.4 in the Mideast. Gay and bisexual men are the populations most affected by HIV. In 2017, gay and bisexual men accounted for, which you said earlier, 66% of all HIV and 82% of diagnoses among males. Let's see. From 2012 to 2016, HIV diagnosis decreased 12% among all gay and bisexual men who injected drugs, but trends varied by race and ethnicity. Hispanics, Latinos decreased 22%, whites decreased 6%, African Americans decreased 6%. Heterosexuals, that's straight folks, people, ready? Continued to be affected by HIV in 2017. Heterosexuals accounted for 24% of HIV diagnoses. Heterosexual men accounted for 7%. Heterosexual women accounted for 16%. 2 times more for a heterosexual woman than a heterosexual man.
Yep.
And what do you, I mean, in your research or whatnot, why do you think that's double? Do you think that women are naive, that we think we're with that one man, and that's not gonna happen to me? I mean, did I hit it on the head,
You hit it on the head.
you know?
You hit it right on the head.
Yeah, it can,
You know, we have,
this can never happen to me.
this can never happen to me, you know, you thought the same thing, that, you know, my husband, wow, you know, he's not gonna do that to me.
Yeah.
You know, he's not gonna go and sleep with a prostitute and come home and bring something to me. Or he's not gonna, you know, maybe, who knows, you know.
And this is the US, guys. If we have time towards the end of the show, we'll do statewide, I mean, other countries and whatnot. I just want people to realize, you know, it's here, it's here, it's not
It's
going
here and
away.
it's real and it's not gone away, and people
Yeah.
think because,
Medications.
you know, you have all these new medications that are out there that, you know, you can, you know, they have the real, you know, I mean, yeah, the pills are much better than they were years ago. You know, 1 pill a day instead of taking 25 pills a day. But some of the pills are hard to swallow, you know, some of the side effects are still, they're still there. You know, you still wake up every morning with the aches and pains and, you know, the depression sets in and, you know, I mean, a lot of times I still suffer with depression. I still get up sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to get up. And sometimes I look out, you know, and I ask God, why? Why me? What did I do so wrong in my life that, you know, that you have to do this to me? And then I have to sit down and say, you know what? It's not God. God didn't do this to me, you know. And I had to learn that, you know. And today I thank God and I thank my church that they helped me through a lot of the grief that I've been going through. I mean, I thank my pastor and his wife that has helped me deal with a lot of the stuff that I've been dealing with. I go to His Mercy Church on 230 Union Street, and they've helped me tremendously, you know. Matter of fact, they were the first persons that I told after I told my son my situation, and they love on me like no tomorrow, you know. And the people in my church, I mean, they don't know because I don't, like I said, I don't wear it on my chest, you know. Maybe some of them will find out today, but I don't think that would matter.
Well, you were on the show last year.
Huh?
You were on our HIV show last year. We didn't go into this depth today that we are. I just feel that, especially when we talked about, you know, New Bedford being number 2, but that's men having sex with other men and transgender women, ages 14 to 24.
You know, it pains me when I see a young girl or I see a older woman come in there and we have to tell them that they're positive. It just hurts because I say, wow.
Now, when
you know, and I mean, there was an older woman that came in a couple of years ago, and she's a Cape Verdean woman, and she was in her 50s. She had been divorced for like maybe 10 years, I believe she said, and she met someone, and she decided that, you know, she was going to be with this person, and she ended up HIV positive. And till today, this woman is having such a hard time with this because, you know, she feels like she's dirty, like nobody wants her, and she wants to die, and, you know, and it's like, why? You know, why? Today's, you know, that she's going through this, but at least, when I go in the room and I talk to these women and I say, look at me.
I was just gonna ask, I was waiting
You
for
know,
that. Do you go in and say, listen, I've got it, you're
Right,
okay?
when I walked into the room and I looked at her, and a lot of times the first thing I do to someone when they're in that position, a female like that, I walk in and first thing I tell her is, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're looking for, can I give you a hug? And basically the next thing, is you're both crying in each other's arms, and it's like, and then when I kind of share my story and say, you can do this. You can do this. It's, I'm not gonna sit here and say there's days that I don't want to go look for my husband and kill him.
Yeah.
There's not times that I don't sit here and say, if I had a gun, that I probably wouldn't have shot him a long time ago. There's not a time that when I first found out that I saw him walking down the street, he was near where you go and get food, Pilgrim Church, okay? He was on the sidewalk, and I was coming down the street, and I took my car and went up on the curve, and my son's face came in front of me, and I came down and said, I can't do this, because then I'll be in jail for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So it's not worth me killing him.
And who knows what treatment you'd actually get there.
Right.
I mean, we haven't got into that. William Spinner says, beautiful woman, my sister.
It's my brother.
Yeah, so people, well, I figured that.
So, I mean, there isn't times, there's not times that, you don't look at yourself, but I have to thank God that I have my life. I have a beautiful life. I have 5 beautiful grandchildren. I have 3 beautiful great-grandchildren. I have my son. I have my brothers. I have my sisters. And I have my nieces, and I have a good life. So what else can I say? There's a lot of people out there that are not as fortunate as I am.
Yep. And to get
And
support is huge.
to get the support that I have,
It's not really,
and maybe, sometimes I say maybe it was because a lot of, people didn't know, but then, it's not even that, because now, a lot of them do know, and I still have the support. I mean, the people in my job, I love them and they love me, no matter where I go. So, and by doing my conference, my biggest thing was, if I can stop one woman from enduring the pain that I suffered alone, then my job is done.
Yep.
And I've done that.
So your status and stuff, like, what is your treatments that you have to do?
I take Batavi,
Is
one
it
pill a day.
1 pill a day? Yep. And that keeps you up to around 500?
Keeps me under 500, yep.
And you're like, thank God, right?
Thank God for that.
So
And that's really I've only been on 2 regimens in the whole 20-something years.
So do you know,
And the other one I was on, they can say I was like Magic Johnson, because I was on his regimen before, so.
you're like, so not that I'm saying you're lucky enough to be in the 500 range, but are there a lot of women that go to the Greater Bedford Health Center that are under the 200 that have to
Well,
take
right
treatments?
now, thank the Lord, the health center, we have a 91% rate of our HIV clients
So-
of undetectable.
Oh, that's terrific, because.
We've only had, out of all of our clients, we've had over 300 clients, and we've only have maybe 13 of them that aren't undetectable.
Kevin, what time is it, honey?
It's 7:45.
Oh, cool beans. So I'm gonna
So
go.
we stay on our clients, we, follow them closely, and we have, we have the highest rate of, around. We really try to watch them, and our doctors are really great at the health center.
Well,
I don't care what anybody says about the health center, but
Yeah.
Our doctors are great at the health center.
Well, you guys have joined the Winter Film Series, so someone's out there. I'm not sure who's going to be coming on board now, but Antonio had left through a great event, but
Right.
Antonio was still on our board. He's just not representing you, but
Right.
So there's just so many things that whenever we have an event, I'm like, ooh, who can we call and who wants to go? I hit up you guys, I hit up 7 Loud Twist, and
Yeah.
Help
Well,
in
Paul
Paradise.
Cassidy and
Yeah.
Marlon will probably still.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely. So when you talk about reaching the 90%, there's actually a reaching the 90-90-90 targets that's out there right now. While there has been progress towards UN AIDS, the 90-90-90 targets for prevention and treatment, this appears to be stalling at its current rates, and the target will be achieved by the 2020 deadline. So what they're looking for is the first 90. In 2017, 3 out of 4 people living with HIV, 75% knew their status. They want 90% of people to know their status. The second 90, among people who knew their status, 4 out of 5, 79% were accessing treatment. The third 90, and among people accessing treatment, 4 out of 5, 81% were virally suppressed. West and Central Africa, and again, this is global, sorry guys, Eastern Europe and Central Asia are regions where urgent action is particularly important if we were to reach the targets. So number of people living with HIV in East and Southern Africa, 19.6 million. Western and Central Africa, 6.1 million. Asia and Pacific, 5.2 million. Let's see, WNC Europe and North America, 2.2 million. Latin America, 1.8 million. East Europe and Central Asia, 1.4 million. The Caribbean, 310,000. Middle East and North Africa, 220,000. So again, they're looking at, the 90-90-90, and they're at 75, 79, and 81 right now. I just find it kind of odd that if you know you have it, why aren't you getting treatment for it? So that's just to kind of threw me for a loop, but globally, you may not have the money to get
To get the treatment.
to get the treatment that you need.
It's expensive, I mean, just that one pill that I take
Yeah.
is $3,400 a bottle,
And how many pills are in it?
30.
Holy crapola. Wow.
So if,
Yeah.
someone, I mean, there is help out there,
Yeah.
we have, the programs and different things, but I mean, if you
You ain't got it. You
you
ain't got it.
you ain't got it.
Wow. So treatment, despite challenges, new global efforts have meant that the number of people receiving HIV treatment has increased dramatically in recent years, particularly in resource-poor communities. In 2017, 59% of all people living with HIV were accessed treatment. Of those, 47% were virally suppressed or undetectable level. Significant progress has been made in the prevention of mother-to-mother child transmission of HIV. In 2017, 80% of all pregnant women living with HIV had access to treatment to prevent HIV transmission to their babies. This is up from 47% in 2010. So it's there, it's not going away. So one more global statistic here. HIV continues to be a major global public health issue. In 2017, an estimated 36.9 million people were living with HIV, including the 1.8 million that were children, or who are children. Since the start of the epidemic, an estimated 77.3 million people have become infected with HIV, and 35.4 million people have died of AIDS-related illnesses. The vast majority of people living with HIV are located in low and middle-income countries, with an estimated, again, 66% living in sub-Saharan Africa. Among this group, 19.6 million are living in East and Southern Africa, which saw 800,000 new HIV infections in 2017. So it's just, I know we're talking about the U.S. and we're talking about, the other parts of the country. But think about when we travel, where we go, people love to travel and have one-night stands or whatnot,
You don't know.
At our youth center, we're gonna, give a shout out back to our NB Agley, so if you can put that up, AJ. We have a weekly youth group for ages 14 to 24, and ironically, the number 2 in New Bedford is between the ages of 14 and 24, and that's why we have our youth group. So if you know somebody between the ages of 14 and 24, again, we do an educational piece, and we kind of end with the fun and games. I know one week we played Hangman, another week we played Trouble, just to kind of break it up a little bit. But we actually did HIV last week, and between the four adult advisors, we all kind of each take a night, so I'm not sure, what the other topics were, but we kind of, share the load with our kids. And I actually just reached out to the Volk and the high school and things like that, letting them know that Massachusetts Youth Pride is coming up in May, and our youth group is going. I'm not going this year, I'm just too hurt right now. But our youth group is going to be heading up there with SIGJA, which is Cape Cod Patriot Youth Alliance. They're all over Massachusetts. There's a Swagley, a McBagley, there's just so many that are out there right now. So I want to kind of give a shout out to that. And if you guys want to sponsor the show, hit up leo@thebedfordguide.com. We need sponsorship money to keep the show going. The production that goes behind the scenes that you don't see, AJ's over there. I'll give a shout out to AJ again. It's a lot that we do, and to be able to have this format, to be able to, bring these situations, events, resources to the community. Again, 50% of the proceeds goes to the network that we do Pride Cafe. Pride Cafe is every Monday from 7 to 9 at 484 Pleasant Street. It's kind of like a fun gathering, like you said, a support group. Get people away from the bar. Not that I love our bar, La Place. And after party for Pride will be at La Place again this year from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. And DJ Nicole will be outside the deck from 4 to 9, which is terrific. And I know, AJ, do you have the poster for Pride? That's one, actually, that's Cape Cod, but that's the wrong one, that's all right. We'll give a shout out to Cape Cod Pride. That's one of ours, so it tells you a little bit about the South Coast, what's going on. And, again, the after party will be at La Place, and DJ Nicole will be outside. But again, to pay for Nicole, to pay for the stage work, we have South Coast Pride coming up on June 1st. All these proceeds that we get from the show will go to the network. So let's see. So when you go to tell somebody that you're HIV positive, like, if you're dating somebody and what's going on with that, what's that conversation like?
It's hard. That's a hard conversation. A lot of times you get rejected.
Now, is it something you start off with, hi, I'm so-and-so, and before we go out, I want to tell you something? Or you go out with somebody having dinner and?
No.
No.
It's a case by case. If you're just going out with someone for dinner or whatever, then there's no need.
Yeah.
But if you find yourself getting
There's
close to that
attachment.
person and there's an attachment, then you need to sit down and you need to express to that person what's going on. And it's a choice. He either walks away or, you sit down and you take it to the next level and, go from there. But there are other scenarios, if you become a couple, there is PrEP that you can take now.
Yeah.
So that, and there is, your condoms, and like I said, right now, U equals U, undetectable was untraceable, so, for myself right now, I'm old, so I just love being alone.
She's like, I don't want no man. She's like, I've been there,
I've
done that.
been there, done that. I had too much pain in my life, so, and that's my choice, and that's what I tell people. That's
Yeah.
my choice.
Yeah.
I choose, my life is too full right now. I like being alone.
And you get a lot from your family.
And I got a lot, I have my grandchildren all the time. I go, I'm not one to sit around and just,
Feel sorry for yourself.
feel sorry for myself.
I'm sure you
No.
did that at the beginning, right? You
I
said?
did,
Yeah.
I did that, and I've had other relationships after that. It's just, I like being me. I like where I'm at. I like doing the things. I like to be able, if someone called me, if one of my HIV kids called me right now and said, I need you, I like to be able to get up and go.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. Or if one of my girls called me up and said, Linda, I need you, I want to get up and go, because they need me. Or if I'm doing something with my church family, I want to get up and go. I don't want anybody to say, well, no, I'm just going. The only person that's going to tie me down is if I have them 3 little angels that run around my house, or, that. And a lot of times I take them with me, so, it makes no difference. But, as far, my girls in work keep telling me, we're gonna find you somebody. It's like, it's not even the part of finding me somebody, it's, I'm content where I'm at.
So you get diagnosed, so how many years have you been surviving or living with HIV?
June 10th, my birthday, will be 27 years.
It's possible out there, folks, it really is. We talked about, we've had several shows now in the last couple of months because we knew some of the statistics were coming out, and 2 weeks ago, we had Twist and Health Imperatives and Great and Bedford Health in the show. I think it was 2 weeks ago. If you guys need assistance, if you're making under $60,000 a year, there's free treatments out there.
Yep.
You can hit up Linda, anybody, or
I'm at the health
myself.
center
at the health
Wednesday
center.
till Friday from 8 to 3.
Yeah, email me if you want to get a hold of Linda, you're not sure where to go or who to contact. And again, it's Traci at SCLGBTQ. I know there's too many. South Coast LGBTnetwork.org. And like I said, that's about it for today. And don't forget, these lovely hats are going to be really, really cool. Some people are going to love them because it's on a baseball cap. I enjoy my baseball caps. Some of you guys know I actually have a wall in my house with boards, and they're all nailed up, and I get my hats. But these are pretty cool. Again, it's adjustable. There's airflow for the size, so if it gets a little bit hot out there, people know the black. But it's rainbow, Stonewall 69, because the incident happened in 1969, and some of you guys and
They
gals may like
interviewed me
it.
about my brother Lenny for
Yeah,
that.
because the number 69. So either way, you'll find these at our Stonewall events, and you'll find them at our Pride event, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye now. Thank you.